Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about last night's episode of Once Upon a Time. And I think, if I didn't think it before, last night convinced me that Peter Pan is freaking evil. I don't know who the actor is who plays him, but man, he's doing a fantastic job because I just really want to strangle Peter Pan. I feel like last night's episode had a lot to do with like fathers and sons, and we focused a lot on Mr. Gold and Neil. Of course, now Neil is in Neverland, and it's not long before he actually gets reunited with his dad, and they go off together to try to get Henry. But Peter Pan manages to kind of sow the seeds of dissent. I'm getting that he's really, really good at that. He basically tells Neil about the prophecy, or drops the hint about it, and then Mr. Gold has to explain it to him. But then Neil doesn't trust him, which of course in the end does not work out great for Neil, because he ends up getting recaptured, and they take Henry away from him anyway. I, for one, do really believe that Mr. Gold was gonna sacrifice himself. Like, he thought Neil was dead, and so I think he was trying to make this grand gesture of, you know, finally doing something that would make his son proud. But the problem is that when you do bad things for a long time, people have a hard time believing you when you want to change. And so, you know, that whole scene with Neil and him where they're kind of arguing back and forth, it was kind of sad. The crappy part too is that even when they did manage to get Henry for a little bit, Mr. Gold had used a sleeping spell on everyone to be able to kind of sneak into the camp. So Henry was asleep. So by the time Henry gets taken back by Peter Pan, he wakes up not realizing that his dad is alive and is there to kind of save him. The other creepy part too is that we get that, you know, they're kind of combining the Peter Pan and Pied Piper stories. So we actually get the origin of when Neil went to Neverland when he was a kid. We also get that Mr. Gold knew Peter Pan when he was a kid. So Peter Pan is obviously aging really, really well. So the Pied Piper story, you know, he played his pipe and all the kids came out and he kind of really seduces them almost to some degree. I thought it was interesting that only the kids who felt lonely or who felt like they weren't loved or cared for, those were the only kids that could hear the music from his pipe. In Neverland with Henry, when Peter Pan tries to do his usual, let me play my pipe for you, Henry can't hear the music. But by the end of the episode, we get that Peter Pan has kind of like recalibrated his pipe so that Henry hears the song. So I'm not quite sure what he changed. Henry's dancing around the fire and we get that he's starting to drink the Kool-Aid. The rest of the group, you know, like Regina, Emma, Hook, Mary Margaret, and David, they're all trying to figure out an exit strategy. After last week, Tinkerbell had agreed to take them into Peter Pan's camp, but when she realizes that they don't have an exit plan, she's like, there's no way I'm doing that. They realize that she's right, and so they're struggling to come up with a plan to get out of Neverland, not realizing when they got there how hard it was going to be to leave. David, of course, is still not telling anyone about the poison. Only Hook knows, and Hook keeps pushing him to tell his family, but of course he doesn't. You guys, I mean, I thought this was a good episode. This season has been so great. I mean, I really have been loving this season quite a lot. My one complaint about this episode, let's talk about it, and it's been happening a lot in the past couple of episodes, is the crappy special effects, the really bad CGI. You know, when they do these scenes like in big castles or, I don't know, a lot of times when they're back in the Enchanted Forest, they use CGI to make up the entire background, and sometimes it looks so fake. So there was this scene with Mr. Gold where, you know, Bay goes missing and he goes out to try to find him and he finds all these townspeople and they're telling him, hey, our kids are gone too. And they're standing in this like cobblestoned alleyway and it just looks so awful. So I really want them to stop doing that. I just really do. I mean, I get it for the castles and stuff like that. So I feel like I can suspend imagination at times for that. But last night the CGI was so crappy and just fake looking that it got in the way of me paying attention to the story because I was so annoyed by it. I hate to end this review on a complaining point because I do love this show. And it's been really good this season, like I said. So go Once Upon a Time. Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching. As always, bye.